the voices are coming from everywhere. This war should be stopped, as Pakistan did. Is there any country, especially because we are from Europe, you are MEP, the member of European Parliament from Europe, do you really think the Europe, okay, already good enough that they didn't participate as in the past? I appreciate the European version this time, but to stop this war, do you think their efforts are fair enough?
To answer that question, I mean, I would say regrettably, Europe is not playing the role it should play. And I would say even it is a shame that Europe used to be in former times, let's put it this way, in a position of being an honest broker, an honest intermediary. I mean, in particular, Germany. I mean, under the leadership of Chancellor Willy Brandt, for example, Germany was a country that also, say in the conflict in the Middle East and the Israeli-Arab conflict, Germany, they had trust from both sides, and so they could sometimes, without making it very public, but they played a very helpful role. Nowadays, I mean, when I see the role of Europe, I mean, Europe is not being discussed as an honest broker because Europe is just taking sides sort of unconditionally. I mean, we have one war in Europe nowadays, and there are diplomatic initiatives from Africa, from China, from Brazil, from countries all over the world, but there is no initiative of the European Union how we can end this war in Ukraine with diplomatic means. And I think this is well, it is a shame for Europe that we are no longer in a position, to find solutions, diplomatic solutions. I mean, when I read, we stand with Ukraine for however long it takes and whatever it takes. I mean, this is not a position that speaks for diplomacy. This is just, as if we were to prepare for an endless war. No, I mean, this is what I said beforehand, I mean, one needs to comment on President Trump that at some point you need to understand, even if you don't get everything you want, even if you feel, there could be a better solution or something. I mean, sometimes you need to find an end to a war. And I mean, thank God, I mean, however cruel this war and however, however the violation of international war was, luckily this war is hopefully now over after 4 months. In Ukraine, we have a war for almost 2.5 years by now. And Europe needs to come take a position, where we would say we are responsible for peace on our continent. And we are also responsible for establishing slowly but gradually also a relationship with Russia again. I mean, this is completely undiplomatic what we're doing. This is, I would say, it is irresponsible. And, and therefore my answer is very clear. I mean, we should return. I mean, Europe once received the Nobel Peace Prize, for its role in international policies. I mean, not even in the Nobel Peace Prize committees that sometimes take very strange decisions, but I guess nobody would come up to award this prize to the European Union nowadays. And it would be good if we came back on this track.
This is an excellent question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have here, Excellency, Ambassador of Iran, Mr. Robert Yazi, and I would like to ask you if you would be willing to say a few words, perhaps from this chair, so Mr. Professor, I would be also able to hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for convening this event and for inviting us. I also want to thank Professor Marandi and Honorable MEP Geisel for providing us their remarks and comments on the latest developments. I have one question to Honorable MEP Geisel with regard to the policy of the European Union towards Iran. you mentioned that you hope there will be a reassessment of policy toward Iran by the EU. Of course, one question is what elements should be included in that reassessment of policy. But I believe the most important question is, do you believe that EU in general, including Germany, France, or the key players that are the penholder of Iran's policy in the EU, are ready for such a reassessment of policy in a positive manner to reflect that they now have a new understanding of the realities on the ground, and that their old policies was not working toward and is not going to work. So that is my question.
I believe in Europe where we should change directions. I mean, sometimes the problem is that you dug yourself so deep in a hole that it's difficult to duck yourself out without losing face, to be honest. I would say, I would just say, we were talking about pragmatism. We should also talk about interests, and we should talk about realism. And I would say, the fact of the matter is that it is a complete illusion to believe that sanctioning, trying to isolate Iran will at some point lead to, a change of direction of government in Iran. What we have observed is, and as I said, it's even conceded by the External Action Service of the European Union, that such a policy not only is not successful, but is rather leading to, they quote, to a rallying behind the flag. So, this is rather sort of strengthening, a government which most countries in Europe do not particularly sympathize with. But I think the matter of realism is that, and I haven't been to Iran. I intend to go there as soon as it is possible again. I would say Iran clearly is a very diverse nation. It is a nation, with a highly educated young population. I think it is, it's a nation, with not only with natural resources, it is also educated. There's a lot of entrepreneurism. There's a lot of people that have good contacts all over the world, and I think this is something we should take advantage of. And when I just look, you mentioned I have a background in energy. I used to be in the natural gas business. When I look, just when it comes to supply, to diversifying our supply with natural gas, enhancing security of supply. Iran, the South Pars field is one of the largest gas fields in the world. There's a lot of infrastructure that we may be helpful to develop, and this may contribute, to energy security in Europe. It may thereby contribute to our economic prosperity. To trade relations, to our mutual advantage. And the history, shows that. It is. I don't know. Some people try to discredit that. I think there's plenty of evidence that good trade relations, they are just led, by the interest of the parties involved. They lead also to communication. They need to also to that people understand there's much more that unites us than that divides us. And this is something where I would hope that we overcome, this completely unsuccessful and misguided policy of sanctioning, isolating countries. It is dialogue, it is diplomacy. It is also that we discuss issues where we disagree, and then find, some, common interests, and this is helpful. We are not. It's also mentioned. I think we are not in Europe in a position that we have to educate other nations what their best way forward is. This is completely inappropriate. This is an arrogant, pseudo-neo-colonialist attitude, which I find is absolutely uncalled for. But I mean, of course, we should keep our interests in mind, and we should sort of, to find some shared common ground, and this is the basis for mutually beneficial relations. And I think.
Thank you very much. خوش مدید, Professor. I'm Lebanon. I speak little English, but I speak French, but I train in English. I will thank you for the organizer, and especially for André Costal, for MV, for their excellence ambassador, for making this event possible. I also wanted to convey a profound message to Mr. Marandi, Professor. The Lebanese people thank you, Iran, from the bottom of their hearts for inward support, and most notably for its decisive role in securing the ceasefire. The crucial solidarity tribe means the word to Lebanon. This ceasefire paves the way for a just and lasting peace in the region and across the world. Thanks, Pakistan. Thanks, Qatar. Thanks, European Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency. And this was something which was necessary to add because Lebanon is one of the victims of the state of the affairs, and we are hoping that this nice country will be spared of another problems in future.
To figure out the rationale behind this, it's just like in a neighborhood. No matter how many security guards you may have, no matter how sophisticated your alarm system may be, you will not choose to live in a neighborhood that is insecure outside your house. You would rather to live in a neighborhood when everybody enjoys security and prosperity. That is something I think we should try to at least try to think about making a difference in this context. So I think these are the 3 points I would like to stress here. And I share the hope that peace will be able to be unfold and last in the Gulf. The Gulf is a very important region, not only for the nations in the Gulf, but also for everybody else. When 1 or 2 countries started the war completely without any factual ground or any warrant, everybody else is paying the price. So we need to talk about the peace, and we need to encourage all parties to really make peace. That's what I have to say now. Thank you.
Thank you.